Welcome to another episode of Metaphors and Mike. I am your host, Poetic Zay, the smoothest poet in the land, forever known for speaking these words so poetic. Lay here with the dopest platform that provides poetry, performance, the passion of words. Today's special guest is a phenomenal artist, a dope friend, and I'm excited she could be here with us. Y'all give it up for the one and only Verse.
Yay!
What's up?
Hey y'all, I'm Verse. How y'all doing?
What's up, Verse? How you feeling?
I'm good. I can't complain.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm glad you could join us here on the podcast. You know, episode 5. You know, solid.
I was supposed to be in the earlier episodes, but it was my fault.
We started.
I don't want to do that.
Go ahead.
It was my fault.
It's
but
okay.
I'm here now. So I just want to put that out there so we don't have to revisit it and you tell them that I missed the first couple episodes.
I wasn't gonna put you out there like that.
I appreciate it.
Because we cool. We friends. So you don't do your friends like that. But everything happens for a reason. So you're here when you're supposed to be here.
That's right.
Right.
God's timing.
Come on, God's timing, right? So the experience so far, how you been feeling about it?
This has been great, actually. I am impressed. This has actually been fun.
So what was you expecting to be bored?
No,
Okay.
I wasn't. So I was nervous at first.
Yeah, be real.
No, I didn't expect to be bored.
Mhm.
Only because I'm comfortable with you and we already have a rapport. So I kind of knew, like, conversation-wise, we've had a lot of conversations in our dealings.
Right.
So, no, I wasn't worried about that part. I just didn't know what to expect getting here. Like, I thought it was going to be show up, do the podcast, go home. But, like, I appreciated how in the beginning I was comforted with conversation to kind of already start to open me up with dialogue. Like, oh, that's a good point. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I like that because it eased me into the comfort. So, no, it's been dope. And the video shoot, I've never been comfortable in front of a camera. I don't know what's going on, but it was seamless today. Like, what's the next pose?
That's good.
So,
That's
yeah,
good. That's what's
I
up.
love this. This was great.
We definitely been dedicated to, like, not just artists show up, do your thing, go home, but really curating an experience. So we still in the building phases of that too. So I appreciate you, helping us build brick by brick. Been my motto for like the
That's it.
past year and a half. So
It's the only way things get built.
trying to tell you brick by
Yeah.
brick. We in the process of building.
You're off to a good start. I like this. This is dope.
But enough about the podcast.
Okay.
Let's get into Verse.
Vroom vroom.
First of all, let's start off. Where does the word verse, as your stage name, your presence, come from?
Okay, so initially when I started out as Versatility. That was the name I had picked. And there was a poet, when I finally went to my first, or started going to the open mics, there was a poet named Yogi who came up to me like,
Yogi 2 Eyes.
Yogi with
Shout
two
out
eyes.
Yogi 2 Eyes.
Shout out Yogi. I love you. That's like my spiritual mentor. But she came to me and she said, your name's going to change. And she said, there's only so many poets I've gone to where I've let them know, like, your name's going to change. So I didn't see it then. Like, I'm like, to what? And then over the time, I just became verse. Like, no one said versatility, just became verse. Everyone shortened it to verse. Some people think that's my name, Verse. So that's literally how my name changed. It was just kind of like, I was like, okay, I could roll with Verse. Like, it's simple. I'm not a person that really wants to just say stuff in poetry. I kind of always want there to be some form of a message. So Verse was fitting for that. So if I'm ever on a verse, I'm going to say something like Lauryn Hill. Cause shout out to you, Lauryn Hill. But yeah, that's how that name stuck. It was just like Verse. All right, fine. Since y'all won't call me Versatility, I'm Verse. That was it.
I think it echoes in your work too, because your work is very versatile.
They don't call me that though. They call me Verse.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, verse fits you, like, not just in a poetry sense, but like when I hear your music, and like you spitting on the you didn't want we talking about that.
I'm a rapper in my downtime.
Come on, nah, but you a dope rapper too. Like, what was it? Last year to So Far, the year before? Last year
I'll
to
let
So
you hear
Far?
this.
When you let me hear, I was like, yo.
You did say
like,
that. You was
this is-
like, you're actually good at this.
Yeah, and you know me, like,
Yeah.
I'm that friend to be
critique.
like, nah, this
don't like that.
is
Yeah.
trash. I don't like this. Like, turn this off. Give me the aux. Like, let me play something else. But I was like, nah, I can listen to this for real. Like, I would down. I remember, like, I hit you up randomly. I was like, send me a song. I'm trying to play it
did.
for some people.
You
know,
did.
like, So I think that really speaks to just not only you, but like how talented you are. So definitely keep feeding that. Maybe we may be able to like, I don't know, put a URL on a link or something for
I'm
that
with
music.
it.
That's what's up.
Well, let me practice.
Okay. Nah.
Let me
But I think like the name of verse also speaks to you, not just how you present yourself in the performance world, but also like your personality. Like, tell me, how does that tie in hand? Like, what is personality? What is being versed?
Okay, so for me, a verse, and we're just going by just a verse.
So,
A verse is very simplified most of the times. Doesn't say much.
well,
Sometimes it could say a lot, and that's literally me in my daily life. Like, I am very laid back. So like a verse can change with beats and all of that stuff. I'm that through the course of a day. I can be here, but in a verse, it's not predictable. So I have things about me that are pretty routine, but for the most part, I live my life as a free spirit. And a verse can be with whatever you want it to be, poetically, as a rapper, however you choose to present your verse. It's free to do whatever you want with it. That is my life. People hate it because I have this just childlike type persona about me, but literally when I tie verse to my life, it's just the freedom in it. I can say what I want. I can move how I want. I can flow how I want.
Yeah.
So that's verse. So it was perfect. It stuck. Like, I take it. I can be verse because that's all I want to give you anyway. 3-minute poem on what day? No. 1 minute and 30 seconds, and you're going to get a lot of what I have to say. No shade.
Which do you lean more towards, like the poetry or the rap aspect?
I'm a rapper.
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
hesitated for a second though.
No, I'm a poet. Like, I hate to go into a room of rappers and they be like, you're a rapper anyway. Talk to me nice. I'm a poet.
Don't talk to me at all.
No, for sure. Because I'm a poet and that's my title. But I am an avid fan of battle rap. So, and then aside from battle rap, I've just always been a big hip hop head. Like, my sisters are big R&B fans and they always look at me like, all you listen to is rap music. But I appreciate words. I'm not an emotional person. R&B tends to be emotional. So because I don't cater to my emotions too much and I like logic, rap just comes off as logical to me a lot of the time. So I can see all the areas in where I chose hip hop as my, like, this is it, the mecca for me.
I done seen you like R&B blasting.
No, for sure. Hey, it's in moments.
I feel that.
You know, typically there's an influence behind my
No,
R&B.
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm either hurt, maybe, or, oh, I love somebody.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's rap music.
Yeah.
That's what I like to listen to, hip hop.
Okay, so real quick, just to stir the pot, top 5 hip hop artists.
DMX.
You're gonna have to wrap this up.
That's a fact. No, that is my all-time favorite rapper. I like a lot of artists. DMX makes me cry. Like, to this day, if you put up a DMX anything and I hear the song, I'm gonna cry. So I'm just a fan of storytellers like DMX, Jay-Z, Jadakiss. I'm old, if y'all can't tell. But I love Rhapsody. I love Lauryn Hill. I like anybody who's saying something. Rick Ross is my guy because he speaks about generational wealth and things like that. So I just like any artist that has a message as opposed to just, I can rap. Cool. But what are you saying? And I think because we're in a space and time where what you say is very important because our children are listening, and the influence is way greater than it was even when we was coming up. Like, we had our CDs. Half the time we couldn't buy them yet because we didn't have no money. Or, there was just all these things where you may or may not buy a CD, but because music and influence is so accessible now with social media, I think we should be very careful with our words and what we start to teach, the masses.
Right.
So I appreciate artists who have a story to tell and are very, very good at getting it across and telling it, or just with some form of message. It doesn't even have to always be a positive message, but in the message, like, how did you get over?
Yeah.
So,
like, what are you really saying?
Yeah, because, okay, I get it, but are you better?
Yeah.
What did you do to get there?
That's how you critique poetry. Like I don't,
You know how
we done been side by side
Like-
in poetry with me.
what it is like. Mm-mm. This
You be
ain't
like,
it.
you be
Nope.
like, this ain't it.
This
You know?
ain't it.
Like this ain't
This
it.
is
You
not
know.
it.
But I think that also speaks to like how you present yourself throughout your own storytelling. Like you always have a message. You know.
It'd be a lie. No, let me tell the truth.
It don't.
We're here for the truth. It don't be a lie. But it's very much not all the way me. So we've had conversations.
It's different. It's a different size of you though. There's a lot of different. Like you are one of those people that.
Never know what you're gonna get.
You never just one color. Like I've seen you in a lot of different spaces, like in a lot of different versions.
I do well.
No, and you were always seeking to evolve too. So I think like that speaks to your storytelling. Like even if you were one of those artists where like if someone was to meet you and they don't really grasp the aspect of who you are, it's because they don't listen to your art.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. Like you don't listen.
It's
Like,
very this.
The message is there.
Yeah.
You know, you're not listening though.
Yeah.
So I think that like represents the transparency that you have in your work, but also like how meticulous you are in your storytelling ability.
Yeah, I actually could be better. Okay, so here's the truth is I don't train like I'm supposed to. I am.
This. Oh, I know.
You know,
this.
I know. So I am not the person like the mic's hot. Let me get on it. I be like, shades in the back. Shniggy, you want to? No, I just came to watch everybody. So I think I can be way further in my.
Not the government name.
What'd I say?
Go ahead.
I did say that. My name is Verse. I'm sorry, y'all. No, in a serious note, I just try to. I don't really. I'm trying to make sure I say the right words and take my time because I don't do that either.
Take your time. It's your space.
Poetry for me started out as an outlet for hurt. That's it. A lot of my poetry came from validation from other people. That's the problem. I never thought I was as good as people said I was. That's the truth. So even now when people be like, you're so good, I think people assume that I have this position in myself where I'm like, I'm one of them poets.
There you go.
And I'm not. To me, not to y'all, to me. I am not. And because I hold myself accountable to the work it takes to be a dope poet, to really be that, I don't do it because more than I move according to how I feel. I want to write when I feel, but to just write because I want to be in this competition or I want to write because I want people to say I'm dope. That's just not my thing. I'm more so when I write, this is exactly how I felt in this moment when it happened. So yeah, I might cry during this piece because it's a revisit. Most of my pieces are a revisit to a time in my life, which you seen earlier, even with that old piece that I hate.
I can tell you hit a spot though.
Yeah, it was still like, oh, I didn't know that still existed in me. So then it's like, oh, okay, still got to heal, check. And then we'll work on that later. But poetry just is for me like, I really enjoy other people's art more than my own.
You do. I remember like I have you come to events and I'll be like, Verse, do a poem. You be like, you want me to do a poem?
Why?
Yeah.
So do I have to?
But I think it also speaks to like what you said about healing is it's not really a finish line. You know, like it's a journey that you're constantly always working at.
That it is.
Healing is messy. It's real messy.
Just when you think you're there, like, I don't care about that no more. You do a piece that you did 15 years ago, and you're like,
and it hit.
Ooh, that still stung a little bit.
And you can correlate it to a situation you're going through right now.
Right, and that's where you're like, and that's where your accountability comes in. It's like, oh, so I haven't grown either, or I ain't learned my lesson yet. Yeah. Ugh, that'd be the worst feeling. Yeah, like, you're like, I'm going through this again?
Yep, because you haven't learned a lesson.
Yes. But, you know, that's the trials of life, though. Like, no one says you're going to get it on the first go. Because I should be like, God, if you can do these one-time deliverances, what is you holding me up for? Like, give it here. Like, I want to wake up tomorrow, no lust. I don't want to, like, none of that. I just want to be.
Sometimes we be standing in our own way, though. You know? Because it's like.
It's true.
I feel like a lot of times we ask for the blessing. And I just watched a message on this about how, like, you can be in a season or place, but you not have the right tools to properly lead. Like, utilize the area that you in. And the reference that they used was like, you know, if you door dashing, what do you need? You know, and the congregation was like a vehicle, but it's like, if you just door dashing downtown, you just need a car. And it's like, but a lot of times we want tools that we aren't really equipped for. It's
Already
like,
have them.
you know, like you want to be a husband, but you don't want to take accountability. You know, like you want to be a wife, but you don't want to be submissive. You know, it's like, is it?
They're there.
You know?
But then that just all comes out. But that's accountability in general. And I think as you course through life, you learn how much people actually lack accountability, have a rough time sitting with themselves and saying, "This is what's wrong with me." That is like the plague to some people. I can't be held. I can't be the problem. It can't be me. And I think when you can I think the most beautiful thing you can do is sit with yourself and be disgusted. I am this. Oh, wait, I do that? Like, and I mean, in self-awareness, not someone having to tell you, but you just knowing yourself, like, this can't be right. Like, this isn't cool.
I made someone feel like that.
For sure.
Or I heard someone.
Oh, yeah, because that's how God gets me. In every relationship or situationship I've had with a person, if it ended some way, my next situation, I ended up figuring out what they felt like every single time. And I'd be like, come on. Like, so I take a lot of my experiences and my failed relationships or situationships and I apply them. A lot of people can't say they do that, but I definitely try to be better every single time. I am not perfection.
Yeah.
And I have my weaknesses. However, I do take pride in that. And I don't let no one take that away from me. Like, no, I'm a person who is self-aware and I'm a person who can sit with myself and say, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
While I may not change immediately, the fact that I can say I don't like it and admit that it exists is hope for me. And to you out there, there's hope in that. When you can sit in yourself and not like the things about you and be honest with yourself, just remember that some changes just aren't overnight changes. It is a steady progressive work. To your point, healing is a forever process.
Yeah.
You're always doing it. And then sometimes you don't even know the places you're not healed in because you're avoiding them. And I'm an avoidance person. So I thought...
No, you don't.
Yes, I am.
Nah,
I'm that loner stuff. That'd be like, I be always by myself. Or I like to be by myself. People don't know that there is a limit you should put on that because some of it becomes avoidance.
That's your go-to though. Like, when stuff start crashing, it's like,
I'm gone.
I don't mind being by myself anyway.
I'm gone. Do you hear me? Like, so sometimes your peace isn't that. That's why when you're triggered, because you ain't healed from it. You don't have no real peace. You just been avoiding it and no one's been confronting it. So then we get in these new relationships and someone comes and triggers you and confronts it and you're like, no, I've been doing good. I have peace. And then it's like, how did you get me to react like this? Because you've been avoiding it. You haven't been really addressing it. You've just been staying away from it. And that's what I do. I be staying away from stuff.
So how do you confront your own patterns though?
Just
because of like, what's the measure? Like, how do you calibrate healing, especially in a season of self-awareness?
Well, because I've been avoiding it, when it shows up in my face, I don't act like how I would have acted before. That's a perfect example of my current situation right now. Like, a trigger was definitely thrown at me, and it was like, I can either act a fool, or what have you learned? Like, when you're presented with this kind of energy, narcissistic energy, when you're presented with any of that, how do you address it? Okay, Shanika, backtrack 12 years. You was with a narcissist for 12 years. What did you learn? And what I learned was you don't feed it. That's what they thrive off of. Yeah. I thrive off of your response. I have to know you care. I have to know that I'm affecting you. I have to know that this matters to you. And what I had to tap back into, because it almost got me at first, like, oh, I'm about to tear something up. And then it was just like, I don't have to. I don't have to meet you where you're at. I don't have to be angry when you're angry. I don't have to be sad when you're sad. I don't have to engage you when it doesn't suit me or it's not going to be healthy for either one of us. Because it doesn't help either one of us. It only intensifies the situation. So what can I do as a woman, learning to be a woman and operating at what my feminine power is, which is not my vagina, it's my silence. It is how I make you feel when you're not being this.
Yeah.
And what I'm confident is I definitely know how to make a man feel like a man, whether he's ahead of me or not. Like, that doesn't matter. It's all in how you carry yourself for me. So there'd be a lot of things where, like, when we be like, I don't want no man I gotta take care of, or I don't want to be the breadwinner. I have a problem with that because I like to get my own money. I like to spend how I want to spend. However, take care of the areas I don't need you in. Like, if you don't have, if you're not going to be the provider, okay, so make sure I'm emotionally straight. Make sure I'm mentally straight.
Yeah.
Make sure,
Provision.
definitely make sure I'm physically straight.
You know, provision is
Literally.
provision isn't
Sorry,
just,
mama.
No, you're not. Provision isn't just financial though. You know.
Yeah.
And I heard something where it's like, when it comes to provision or being a provider, if you only think of, I think Trip Fontaine said it. If you only think of financial status when you think of being a provider, you have nothing of being a provider. You know nothing of being a provider.
Absolutely not.
You know, because
no. You can't raise your kids that way.
Yeah,
like,
a true provider brings structure.
Absolutely.
You know, you may be the breadwinner, but
absolutely,
he gives you emotional structure. He
That's
gives you
it.
mental. He can be like, oh, Virgil's about to crash out. I need to do X, Y, Z.
Yes.
You know,
and to my point, that's exactly. So I'm not that woman to where it's like you should be doing this, this, and this. It's just peace is wanted for everybody.
Yeah.
So for men, even when men say "be my peace," I don't think I want peace either.
Yeah, you gotta have your own peace.
Yeah, for sure.
But even then, like for the women that are like, I want this, this, and this, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I think a lot of times, like, we aim and reach for things that are really outside of our field.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you are the type of woman that you like, I want a man that's this, this, and this.
Can't be making choices out of desperation.
Don't go for the man that's gonna show up and and how he is.
This
like,
my 9 to 5. This my I can't afford it. No,
that's not what you want.
Yeah.
Especially like, I think it's easier said than done because like in a sense of wholeness, like when you know parts of you aren't necessarily complete or all put together, you know, you have those parts of you that you like, I desire somebody that does this and that and feeds me in this and that. But you have to have a sense of accountability and tell yourself, if I'm not giving myself these things, it is an unrealistic expectation to expect somebody to come in here and give me these things.
I agree.
Because when they show up and give you these things, you're not going to
You don't even know how to receive it.
You don't know how to receive it.
That's a fact.
You know?
Or reciprocate it sometimes. So yeah, I agree with you on that. We definitely have to be very careful about what our expectations are and making sure we align ourselves with those expectations, because a lot of times we want a lot of our needs to be fulfilled, but we don't never consider what our partner's needs are, especially if they're opposed to ours. So even down to love languages, that's a point in conversation, because if my love language is physical touch and quality time and yours are words of affirmation and gifts, but I'm just stuck on like, well, we always do things together and gifts, then it's just like,
but you're not loving me the way I need
absolutely, like, okay, I and while I may appease that, don't forget that I have things that make me tick as well. And I think a lot of times we forget that because we tend to be stubborn and selfish in our ways, or we've given so much to people that didn't deserve it. That selfishness builds to where it's like, no, for once I want someone to be everything I need. I don't want to be, I'm always with someone else's need. I want someone to be what I need. But, and then it's just all about taking your time. Like, we don't take our time. There's an urgency to have somebody. And I think a lot of us don't really process what it means to take time to yourself and love yourself, because there's a lot of stuff. First off, you wouldn't ignore the red flags anymore. The fact that we can go through what we go through, get red flags immediately from people, and then still be like, well,
because you be like, everybody's not perfect. Sometimes you got to grow through this.
Yeah, but we know that's not true no more.
Is that not true? Is everybody not perfect?
Because so is it not true that when a person shows you who they are, believe them? Okay, so now the offset of that is, now if a person is actively, the key word is always active, activating, active. If they're actively doing things to change and you can witness that, that's totally different. But when a person has shown you a behavior 3, 4, 5 times, and it shouldn't take that much, because you shouldn't play about yourself that much. I'm talking to me too. This is not judgment.
Nah, you preaching. You talking.
But it's, if when you really get to a place of self-love, it's just kind of like, I'm not gonna tolerate this. Dang, I be tolerating stuff.
I think we all be tolerating stuff because, in the truth, don't we all just desire love? And it's like, especially like when you really meet someone, we all love urgently. And when
I'm so bad with
and
that.
when you love urgently,
Yeah.
it's like when my feelings hurt, it's urgent. When you not showing up for me, it's urgent. When I need you right now, it's urgent.
yeah.
You know, and it's like in a sense of urgency, you necessarily don't take the time to kind of like reconfigure yourself or adjust or just take a moment and just breathe.
No, because you get that moment of attention. It's like, oh, I need this. And it's like, give it. Because, and I can only speak for me, that's a lot of my situations to where it started out honeymoon phase. By the time, and this is just me, by the time I'm out of honeymoon phase, I am very clear on like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And I knew this already. I see this.
And I saw this in the honeymoon phase.
In the honeymoon phase, I was like, I don't really like that. But it's just like, I guess I can tolerate it. And don't get me wrong, no one's perfect. So there is some things you're going to have to tolerate about your partner. But that's what I say. So for me, the honeymoon phase is BS. Like, I don't believe the honeymoon phase ever. It's like, this is always a phase through all of my experiences where it's just beautiful in the beginning.
Sometimes the honeymoon phases last longer depending on different
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
Your honeymoon phase in one season could look like 2 months.
Yeah.
And the next season it could look like 6 to 7.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's a long time consistently
for sure.
to be.
But no matter what the honeymoon phase looks like, people can't fake that long after a while. You've seen something that was like,
that was different.
Really like that. Yeah, but you just kind of like, I'm here now. So let's just see how it goes from here. So I think the key thing to focus on is trusting yourself.
Yeah.
You have to trust yourself. Like, especially when you know, like, you're in a stage of your life where you can trust yourself. Like, I have gone through this enough. I've encountered enough people to where I know I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
This
and
is
I know what that looked like. And this
literally like
real familiar.
People are habitual. Like, as much as people want to be different, they're not. There's a group. That's why there's tribes. Oh, that's my tribe. Because there's people that are just like you somewhere. Authenticity is authenticity according to what you're into. So there was somebody in this earth who's like, I'm the only one that loves anime. And I'm saying that because I didn't know what anime was. I was just like, what is this? But it's become more prevalent now. And there's a lot of people. Okay, scratch that. Perfect example. People that were, when I was in high school, the goth people. Who are always these people over here. There's never a bunch of them. It might have been like 6 or 7. Then I get out of school and stuff, out of high school, and I know there's a whole community of goth people. Like, oh, this is their thing. Like, so I don't meet people and feel like you're a unicorn. No.
Yeah.
There are people that are like you that exist, and people are creatures of habit. We're habitual people. So the likelihood of you running into a certain kind of characteristic or behavior more than once in your lifetime, or it being something you attract, is very real to me. Because there's a lot of people that I meet where it's like, I'm not doing that because I've already met a person like you before.
Yeah. But sometimes, like, you be attracted to the thing. Like, some people are good pretenders.
For sure.
Like, the gift of gab is real.
For sure.
Like, for real. Like, we in our community, you done seen it. You done seen.
I get God.
I get God. I get God. For real, especially because, like, as cliche as it sounds, like, I'm the lover boy. Like, you know, like, I really, like, believe in, like, love. Like, I'm not talking about, like, traditional love. I'm talking, like, Disney's princess movie love. Like,
really?
Yeah, I believe that shit is real.
So someone just told me I'm a lover girl. Well, I've heard it at least a few times now where it's like, oh, you're a lover girl. So my lover girl's not so much Disney princess, but it's definitely more so my grandparents. That's what it is for me. So
I feel like your love is like 90s R&B kind of.
It is so
romantic but toxic love.
No, it's not toxic. It
like that Love Jones love.
No, it's like my grandparents. Like,
real.
I really appreciate that. Not the ones who be like, oh, but he was sleeping with so-and-so across town. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about two people that got together and they ride or die forever. That was my grandfather and my grandmother. That's the strongest example of marriage, of love, of commitment I ever seen. I watched them go at it side by side in a car for about 30 minutes. And I'm talking about 5 minutes later, they're just like, what you want to eat?
Yeah.
Back talking like normal. Oh, I need that.
It's
yeah,
a moment.
like,
and if we both understand, if we look at, I think that's what partnership is.
Yeah.
Like you look at as an obstacle as like not something between us, but both of us to attack.
Yes.
And they probably both understood that this is something we both just need to get out at a thing, not something that's between us.
Yeah, I know you.
Yeah,
you know me.
And
It's like,
and
and
then
then
they
they over
hungry.
it. Yeah,
And I'll let you talk what you need to say. We're gonna get some food, and
that's it.
But at the end of the day, like I think nowadays we define that ride or die as like you can do everything from A to Z under the sun, and it's like, no, you have poor. I know people that are in relationships, like long relationships, but their boundaries have been crossed multiple times, and it's like, I think if you can disrespect me, how much do you really love me?
Absolutely.
You know?
That's big for me. Like, and that's the standard for my relationships and my friendships, because what I've learned is I'm not that to my friends or my partner.
Yeah.
I'm not likely to call my friends, like my homegirls, like, yeah, you know, that, but my man, I'm not gonna call you, because if you let me do it, I'm gonna look at you less. If you let me talk to you crazy, I'm gonna be like, I don't like this.
That's
like,
the ways of a woman, though.
Yeah.
If you can get away with it, it's a seed.
But I don't even. That's not something I try.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. I love a man. Okay, I love men. I do.
But it's in your
honest.
As I think,
And I just want to love and take care of y'all.
Don't fall for it. I'm just saying, but as a woman though, it's in your nature to test a man. You know, not to the extent is.
No, I do. I'm telling you, Zay, I'm
so?
not testy. No, I can't even say all the stuff I want to say on here. I'm not that. I am a lover girl.
Yeah.
I am. All I ever want to do is, I'm talking about, I'm in your skin. Every chance I can get, I want to be in your skin. What do you like? What do you want to do? What are you into? Like, I really try to, I almost become my partner. Whatever you into, that's what we doing. What do you like? I'm doing that. Like, so it's not, I don't want to, I'm not testy with my partner. I'm not disrespectful to my partner, because I know for me, I can honestly say as a woman, I want to submit and I want to be led. And I know that. So where I start to butt heads is like, well, if you're gonna lead me correctly too.
Right.
So,
but even then is a test, because it's like I've seen you in real time. Like if a man says, "Hey, Verse, I plan to move this way," you're gonna be the type of woman that's like, "I don't see you moving that way." Like not in the like.
Okay, yeah. Challenge.
You know, and it's
you're
like
supposed to challenge a man.
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's supposed to like to hold you to the standard that you said you were. But I've also seen you like you were as like the true definition of a helpmate. Like, you know, like I done seen you like
I do too much.
For real.
I do too much.
You don't do too much, but even in the sense of friendship, like you are reliable. You know, like you're dependable too. So I know that transitions in your intimate relationship.
My loyalty be stupid. It do. They say sometimes you can have blind loyalty. I have blind loyalty, and I can admit that. Like, I am that. My mom has told me. My sisters tell me. There's no one. These are people that know me very well, and they're like, "You're just loyal to the wrong people all the time." Well, because when my I love yous aren't bland.
What is a toll on that though? Like, what does that cost you?
Everything. I've just been, so it's caused me to have boundaries. It's caused me to build walls. It is the reason why I'm not vulnerable. It is the reason why I'm not emotional. Once I figured out that reciprocation sometimes just isn't a real thing with people, and you have to be very careful, because a lot of people can't reciprocate the type of energy I present. My energy is very genuine. It is not judgmental. It is a lot of things that people just can't give back because of whatever their experiences are. And so I learned to not fault them for it, but to just deal with people where they are. Absolutely.
How do you prepare yourself for the love you want to receive in the future if you're still being loyal to your past?
So I deal with myself on that. Because I used to pride myself on that a lot. Like, I talk to all my exes. And not even in a way like it's sexual or I want that old thing back. They're my friends because I love you is big to me. If I have expressed that I love you, I meant that.
Yeah.
So even if we have broken up, I'm just not the person where it's like, I don't want nothing to do with you no more.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about cheating, all of that. Once we have decided this doesn't work for us, I'm okay with, there was probably a friend, I'm connected to bonds.
Yeah.
There's probably a friendship before we got to this place. And I intend, my biggest thing in relationships is never stop being my friend. I always say that. Like, I don't care what happens. We will sink and die the moment we stop being friends, because there's an honesty that comes with friendship. There's an openness that comes with friendship. There's a relatability that comes. There's all these things that come with friendships, because if you look at life, a lot of times our friendships last way longer than a lot of our relationships. So if I look at the value of friendship, I absolutely want to put that in my relationship. Please be my friend first, always. And then whatever evolves from that is just natural. It's like, it's my dog.
But the more value that you see within yourself, and I'm just learning this. When I say like just learning this, maybe like a couple weeks ago, like I'm learning like the more value that you see within yourself, the more you have to realize that everyone doesn't deserve access to you.
Absolutely.
And access is a privilege. So it's like, yeah, we could have been exes of like 3-4 years ago, and I could have did you completely wrong, you know, and you may have it in your heart, like, you know, it's all good. I may not have that same access that I had to you like I had, but the fact that I can still have access to you, that I can still text your phone at 2 a.m., hey, I'm just checking on you.
So to answer your question, it's problematic for me. And because I'm at a place, and it's offensive to both parties.
Yeah.
It's offensive to my partner because it's like, let it go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you talking to, but it's offensive to my friend because it's like, we friends. Like, I can't talk to you because, and I get it on both spectrums because it's always rooted in what my discipline is. I don't want to touch them. Like, I can have a conversation with them and be totally fine. But those are the parts where I've also been so dolo so long, where a man has to teach me that again. This is what's respectful. This is the standard. Truthfully. So, okay, I get it that y'all don't have a bad experience with each other, or y'all did and y'all got over it, but I'm here now.
It's a door half cracked.
Absolutely.
Even if, and I'm learning that just because you're not connected to people doesn't mean people are not connected to you.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you may not see it as an opportunity.
Yes.
But
they see it all the time.
But, and I'm real protective about this, especially like I see like the way we as men, like you never know how men speak on you when you're not in the room.
Yes. I
be hooping with niggas and you couldn't believe like niggas be loyal to their girl for years and they talk about it as like, dang.
Insane.
No, insane. So, but you said it's not loyal to your friend and it's not loyal to your partner, but above all that, it's not fair to yourself because the person for your past is still keeping access to you because they know your value. And they've encountered other people that don't match that value, which is why they still fishing.
Preach, Zay, because get away from. You think I don't know? They think you don't know that.
Yeah.
They think you don't know that. They think you don't know that.
In the sporadic reach out, could it be genuine? Yeah. Of course, but it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It's also because you acknowledge and realize the value of person that I am. And you don't went out inside the world and say, value don't come like this.
No, it don't. No, it don't.
Even biblically, like, there's certain anointing that comes when people are in your life.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, and...
Yes.
Yeah.
People
will leave your life and life will go like...
You'll be like, what? I can...
I done see stuff. I'm like, dang, I hate life going for
you
me
done
like that.
Spoke on that because that's a fact. There is those times where I've looked, not in judgment, but it's just like, dang, like, so when God says that sometimes you're a covering for another person, that be real. And I've seen the evidence of it. I've been the evidence of it. Like, no, okay, I see how that goes. So, yes, and the accessibility does affect.
And it's not even like, oh, go ahead.
It will affect my future situations. So that's a good call out.
Yeah.
I'll eat that. I need to work on my cutting people off. I'm terrible.
But the root of it is just boundaries though. And like this is something that I'm going through with my own personal self. I'm like, you say you want these things in the future, you know, you want to be a husband, want a wife, you know, you want to be a man of God, but it's like, what are your boundaries?
Yep.
What are your boundaries? And it's like,
Punch you in the throat.
and I'm just saying, and I heard once like, whatever you tempted by, you will be tempted with.
Yep.
And like, that's the purpose of testing trials, to test your boundaries. Like, you say, I don't want a liar, but if a liar comes into your house and you settle, you're not standing on your boundaries. No. So, and I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me too.
Yes, you are.
I'm talking to me too. And I'm
He's
looking
talking to us.
I'm gonna look at the camera when I say this, because I know I'm gonna look back and watch this episode. But stand firm on your boundaries, not just within yourself, but when other people hold you accountable to your boundaries. That's love.
Mm-hmm.
That's love. Because if you can allow me to just go out here and live life recklessly when I have communicated the expectations and boundaries that I hold myself by, you don't love me.
No,
and
I agree.
And I think we've conditioned ourselves to like, love isn't correction.
No.
But it's like, how do you love me if you're not willing to correct me?
Yeah.
Like, if you,
No, it is correction.
It is correction.
It's just how you do it.
It's just how you do it. The delivery is everything.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just how you do it. And if it's rooted in love, it's no possible other way to do it except from a loving place.
Yeah.
Like, it is an empathy. Yeah. There's an empathy that comes with love. Like, where it's just like, I'm not even trying to scream on you or nothing, but, you know, this is what I'm seeing. Yeah. And this is where you can do better. I'm big on that, and I appreciate when people do that to me, because there's some things that go over my head, or I'm right in the thick of it and I don't realize I'm doing it. Sometimes they be like, you doing that thing you be doing, and I be like, sorry. But again, that goes back to the beginning of the conversation where a lot of people can't do that. Yeah. Where they can say, you right, I ain't doing right. And one thing I can say about us is we're accountable with each other.
Yeah, we hold each other real accountable.
I'll be like, because you got me on the couch. And I was like, dang.
Yeah.
As soon as she was like, it didn't fit, so I left. And I'm like, oh, so I was giving you excuses, wasn't I?
No, in my past situation when we was in a car and I was being, you got me together real quick.
You know it.
It was like,
you tripping, friend. What you doing? Yeah, ew, I don't like this.
They stand up. Stand up, Zay. But I think like that speaks to like just real friendship though. Also, just the last thing I want to say on boundaries is that like, being respectful and standing on boundaries is the biggest evidence of self-love. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we preach about loving ourselves, but it's like, how much do we really be loving ourselves?
No, it don't be. It just depends. Really, it depends on what you're accepting at the time. Because there are times where you are loving on yourself, mm-hmm. and then, well, I guess not, because I guess the moment you immediately like, I mean, I can talk about me. Do I? No, I'm still working on the loving myself part.
That's cool. Me too.
I love people more than I be loving myself, and that's so problematic.
And it's easy to do.
It is too easy.
And I realized recently, like, I get real codependent in relationships. Like I
don't get codependent.
I don't think that's true.
No, I don't get codependent. Because my detachment's too strong for that. I don't get codependent because I already know I don't need them. Okay, let me keep it a band. A lot of times the people that are coming to me, the men that are coming into my life, I don't really need them for nothing.
You don't. But codependency doesn't always, and go back to what we said about being a provider. Like, may not need you for this, but
taking care of somebody.
It may it feeds that.
Shut up.
It feeds that internal conversations we have with each other, and like, it's easier to love somebody else than it is to love yourself. And I realize when I get in relationships, or like when you have a piece of me, like, I become so selfless where like it's damaging to myself.
Yep.
Like,
okay, I do.
And I'm learning a boundary for me in this season is like, I love you, but you are not good for me. Like, I love you, but you're hurting me. Like, I love you, but if you love me the way I loved you, you wouldn't even put me in positions like this.
You're right.
It's like,
you're right.
Chasing the love that I give, not necessarily the love that I desire, but it's like the love that I give, I receive that. You know, I deserve to receive that. But it's also realizing people not you.
No, that's the biggest thing people you have to realize. No, and like to what you just said, like there's a video that Jada Pinkett, and I know everybody has their opinion about Jada Pinkett, but there's a side of her I see where it's just kind of like, I kind of understand where she's coming from on certain aspects, because we have a standard that we have set for her husband, and then she's just kind of like here, but with all the speculations and rumors that go around, I kind of feel where she is. But there's this one part she's in this video. At the end of it, it was a punch when she said it, but it's just so felt. And she's like, sometimes you have to you can always love somebody, but sometimes you have to know when to love them from over there. And she was like, love them, but from over there. And she looks in the camera and she says, but you can never love someone more than you love yourself. And she looked in the camera and she said, never. And I've watched that video. I've gone and looked for that video just to see that part on the never part, because that was very key for me. Like, you can't never do it, because the moment you start doing that, it is over. You make yourself susceptible to you're at their mercy and their will.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that you have to create this no, I'm not gonna, it's just really chasing what's fluent and making sure you're aligning yourself with a person that is aligned with you, being equally yoked. So this is where I get with the Bible, even down to the 10 Commandments, where we fight that thing, no, but it's like, oh, we'll just take lust, and it's just an example. We'll just take lust, for example. Well, how many terrible things are associated with lust?
A lot.
I don't know. Abortion, diseases or STDs, just children, fatherless, motherless homes.
Yeah.
Like, when you really think about the 10 Commandments and you really break apart, it's not just the 10 Commandments. Just break apart all the things that are associated with these 10 Commandments. How much better would your life be if you took those things out of it? Yeah. But we're so because you're being told what to do, it's like.
And even then, I realized the call isn't even to perfection.
No.
But just progress.
Do better. It's every day do better.
And the 3-step, man, me and a friend of mine, Nick, was just talking about this. It was a 3-step, pray.
Nick.
Yes.
Don't say it
shout out to NDC Poetry. It's a 3-step process.
Sorry.
Pray, repent, turn away.
Is it?
And a lot of times what I do, I'm gonna put myself out there. I pray, I repent.
Go right back to it. Running. Hey, but that's the process, and he said it.
Yeah.
He told us that's the process too. It's just not getting. But you can't let your shame keep you away.
Yeah.
Because he says it. Yeah. Keep coming back. Yeah. Keep trying. That's what people don't focus on. God literally is telling us, I already know that you're not gonna be good at this.
Yeah.
But you got to be committed.
And sometimes he'll send us the thing
for sure
that he know we not ready for.
Yep.
Just for us to run back to him.
Yep. Oh.
And I'd have been there. And I'm like, dang.
I'm about on my knees now.
I asked for this. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
It had you written all over it, but I mishandled it.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, I realized I mishandled it because I wasn't in your presence.
Yep, all the time. That's every time. So every man that I've encountered, I absolutely know that I was not aligned, and because it was a man that needed something, and it was a man that needed something that's within me, and I knew it.
Yeah.
However, because I'm driven by lust,
you also very
time.
You also very accountable and transparent. I remember you communicated with me. You was like, I didn't hurt some good men.
For sure.
And you was real about it.
I did, because I wasn't ready yet. My father broke my heart. And I don't think my mom or anybody really understands how impactful it was to not have my father, or how much I desired to have my father in my life. That was a big blow for me.
How did your dad break your heart?
He just wasn't consistent. Inconsistency disgusts me now. Even into my to 39, if you are inconsistent, you can't get me to look your way on a serious level.
Have you fallen for men who are inconsistent?
No, no. But they assume that I'm supposed to. That's one of the problems I ran into. That's another story. However, back to my dad. So, inconsistent. Then the first boyfriend I ever had. Now, I was not a fast girl. No, that's not judgment or nothing, but I just wasn't a fast girl to where I was really into boys. My first actual boyfriend, I think I may have kissed a boy twice before I ever had my actual first boyfriend. and that was my 10th grade in high school.
Wow.
And I got dragged through the mud. Like, I got cheated on real bad. And even in 10th grade, I already was displaying wife qualities. Like, I was already, like, I got proposed to in high school. Like, my 12th grade year, he proposed to me. Something he absolutely was not ready for, because shortly after that, he cheated on me with a girl who's just like, oh, she got in a car accident, and she said she about to get this money, so I figured I'd sleep with her, and I was going to spend money on you. That's not the point here.
You think heartbreak that young shapes you?
Yes. Because what I'm realizing is I was ready for something I was ahead of my time. Even sexually, I was ahead of my time. Like, when I finally lost my virginity, I was the person going to my boyfriend like, let's try this. Because I was already in the mind of keeping it exciting, finding new ways to please him and make him happy. Like, my drive was always to please my man. I'm a man pleaser. I'm a lover girl.
Yeah.
So even then, so it started from then, which explains to me why I craved my dad, male connection, him, male connection. So then it just took, but I was so like, I ain't with this. And I wanted to know men so bad that I surrounded myself by men. And not in a physical way. Most of my friends were men, to where I don't know them. I don't know anything about them, so I want to learn them. So I got all these aspects of men. I got good men, bad men, men in the middle, men figuring it out. I got all these aspects of men, and then I learned once I took my experiences from my father to my high school sweetheart, and I carried that into my experiences with my friends. I realized I didn't want to be the girls. It's like, but I love you. Oh, I'm crying. Don't do this to me. I'll take you back. Like, it was like, no, they playing a vicious game out here. I'm not going to be that. So what I learned is, y'all be choosing. Oh, and I could choose too. So I don't have to love every man that I encounter. I don't have to want to be with every man that I encounter. However, I was weaponizing my essence. I'm a vibe, and I knew it. Like, no, when you come here, you want to be here. Like, if I invest back, or if I'm even playing the game back, you'll assume she's locked in. And then it'll be like, you're a whore. I don't want to lock into this. Like, I don't feel the way you feel, or whatever's worked with everybody else. Like, I'm a slang that thing, or I got gab too. I'm a slanger too. I'm not slanging what you're slanging, but I'm a slanger too. And that was the mentality. I picked up a male mentality. Like, that was my fight back, to where I won't be consumed by you. Like, I'll play the game. That's how I lost good men. In my anger, in my hurt, and in my lack of understanding, I kind of went on like an attack on men, because I know I can get you. Like, I've been validated. I know what I can do, what I can say, how I can move to get you to want me, or to think that you want me that bad, with no good intentions. Like, I want to be here. Huh?
I said, but could you keep them?
Yes. Oh, I left all of them. I was a leaver all the time. Every time.
A self-sabotage.
Absolutely. Especially when it's good. Like, even now, I have to catch myself. Like, if it feels too good, I'll try to push you away, because it's not real to me. And I haven't taken the time to let it be real for me.
Why is it not real, though? Especially when you're the lover girl and you say that's what you want.
Defense mechanisms I built. So I don't overly trust. There's just that one thing that's like, this ain't for real. Like, this ain't for real. It can't be. No. That's how I be thinking. Like, I'm just waiting on it. Like, there's something wrong here. So, and when I say I lost good men in the beginning. I ain't lost nothing now to where I'm like, I lost a good one. No, I lost them in the beginning. There was and I can call them out to this day. There are about 3 men I know where I'm like, I messed that up. The intention was there. They stood behind the intention. Like, it was everything that I could want out of a man, as far as status, just how well they take care of themselves, their character, just a lot of it aligned. I wasn't ready for them. Because I was still playing a game that I didn't even think I had to play anymore. Like, then I just took it and ran with it, instead of taking it as it came. Like, okay, for these next until you're 25, okay, you out here because you don't trust. But at what point, like,
Is it serious?
yeah. And so it never got serious for me until, well, I lied. My baby daddy came through, and that was my karma. That was my karmic
The
relationship.
baby daddies always be the karma.
Boy, he came through, and all that you think you was doing, nah, you can't do that here. And I'm talking about, but this is where I learned that I knew who I was as far as my status as a female. I knew I wasn't a beta female. I knew there's some alpha about me, or there's some, I forgot what the other one is, but I'm not that. So my son's father is an alpha. He's an alpha male. And when he came, he let me know ain't none of that happen, because this is what I need. Like, you ain't got to work. You ain't got to do none of that. So he was the first man that took care of me. And that's how he got me. He was the first man that was like, come on, I got you. And he souped it up all nice. It looked like a beautiful package. And then as time went by, that package just unraveled. And it was like, oh, I know what it is now, but this is a narcissist. It's always your way. And I'm just here to appease whatever.
And to live in your world.
That's it. And I was living in his world, to where by 12 years later, when I came back here and I finally left him, I had no identity. I didn't know who I was. All I had been living for was him and my son. That is it. Poetry, what is that? Stripped me away from family, stripped me away from my friends. Like, everything was just rooted in
him.
Me. So, and even when my son came, there was a jealousy that happened. Like, he's always worried about Eli, because he was so used to me catering to him. Now I got to share this time with my son. So it's just like, I mean, now he's adapted. He's way better now. But when he first got back from being deployed, that was a struggle in our house, where it's like, you're just always worried about Eli. What about me? And it's like, okay, well, I'm going through postpartum depression. Do anybody care about that? I just went through a whole pregnancy on my own. I had him on my own. I've been here on my own with him. So now we've bonded. Now this is my ride or die. Like, son, we figuring this out together. It's just me and you. And then here you come with your grown self talking about, just 3 meals a day, man. You suck. Yeah, I don't have time for that. I'm tired. So, yeah, life has been.
Life
been doozied me.
No, I appreciate like your vulnerability and your transparency the whole time on the podcast.
Only because you're cool, because I don't normally do that.
I know, and I appreciate like you coming through the whole experience. Before you get up out of here, let the viewers know about the piece you chose, and make sure you get a title at the end of your spiel.
Which one are y'all keeping?
Whichever one. Both.
Okay, so say both of them. Sorry, I don't think y'all supposed to know that. Is that gonna be an edit?
Okay, maybe.
Okay, so the first piece I did was titled Hangman. That was actually about the man I was just telling y'all about, my baby daddy. Now, I want to put a disclaimer out before I go into that, what that piece meant to me. We are in a wonderful place. We co-parent very well. That was just learning experiences, but we are stabilized as of 2025. That piece was during a time where I was totally lost. I got wrapped up into the first time a man ever taking care of me like I felt like my father did. He required me to call him daddy. So it was just a lot of just mind manipulation going on. But that piece was actually specifically done in a hotel room on a retreat that we went to that I got abandoned on. So he went out and did a bunch of stuff and left me in the room for 3 days by myself. And I was sitting on a bed and I was actually voice recording that piece. And then I went back into the voice recording. I wrote down the words and just added stuff in between there. But all of those feelings and emotions are very raw, very real, and very much what my situation was with him during that time in the beginning.
Thank you, Verse, for everything. Make sure y'all like, follow, and subscribe. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Metaphors and Mike. This is where the poetry gets raw. I am your host, Poetic Zay, the smoothest poet in the land, forever known for speaking these words so poetic. Y'all make sure to check us out.
Oh, Lord.
Y'all make sure to check us out and stay tuned for some dope, phenomenal guests we got coming on. And we'll catch y'all next time.
Peace out, y'all.
Hey.
This is a pain thing, kind of like a shame thing, because I keep going through the same things. And I can't figure out what's the blame thing. And the main thing that's the problem is that I can't seem to get through to you or get you to understand that I'm trying to let you be the man, but you trying to be the pimp. You trying to hold a hand that should backhand a man, not me. And this ain't even physical. It's a mental thing. An emotional strain to what my heart knows, but my mind battles, you know. The same old story with no glory for the lover whose heart's in it. It creates fury. Like what I'm feeling right now, these words I can't jot down, they're coming so fast. And if I had a gun, I'd blast. That's a dangerous thing and an aimless thing. But it's a painful sting when them love shells cock and bling. But if hell was to catch you, I'd be right beside you riding high. 'Cause I chose my sanity and chose not to die. I played my best hand and called your poker face lie. A pause for the cause, 'cause I'm in my feelings. It's really drilling. Your dirt's grave deep, but the shovel's barely hidden. Right on the surface for me to see. You playing games, but you're not including me, so I gotta bully my way through in battleship. But when I hawk and spit, it'll be in your ear. I'm gonna make sure you hear all the things I couldn't make clear. When I was just trying to be cordial. When I'm dangling the cordial, hang yourself from. And dangle, you're done. So you'll know that this love was not blind, but it's this pain that is one. Poem.